Welcome to the School Board Report. I'm your host, Jayden Watkins, along with School Board President John Landers. Mr. Landers, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Jayden. Great to be back.
We're just back from Thanksgiving break, and I know of the last school board meeting focused on several community groups, businesses, and individuals that have done something special for our staff and students this year. Can you tell us about that?
Sure. I think what makes our district special, and probably many school districts across the state of Ohio, is the amount of community support we get, whether it's from families and individuals or from local businesses or various nonprofits and community groups. And we really, especially with it being the week of Thanksgiving, wanted to highlight, those individuals and businesses and such. Received a $10,000 grant for Subaru Loves Learning. That was focused towards Glenwood Junior High. Every Glenwood teacher received about $200 across all their classrooms to invest in things there, as well as boxes of school supplies. And then also at Glenwood, Boardman Rotary provided a $1,900 grant for a new high-tech scanner. And Mr. Harker, I guess they're going to be making their own Pez dispensers with the faces of the students. So we're looking forward to seeing that. So also United Way, who we really have a great partnership with this district for our Success at Six program. Also donated $7,000 of furniture, games, and other enhancements for Mr. Masucci's social emotional learning room at Center. And then our local Office Max, Mark Miller, who's an alumni, always does a great annual supply drive for students. And this year it was for Robinwood Elementary School. They received about over $6,000 in school supplies. And then Boardman United Methodist Church really does a lot for West Boulevard. It's a really special bond. They provide school supplies or clothing or whatever's needed. They find a way to help, which we greatly appreciate. And then at Stadium Drive, there's a volunteer, Shirley Matula. Kind of does everything. I think she's kind of referred to as the fairy godmother there. She'll plant maroon and white mums around the school sign. She brought in a local meteorologist, Eric Wilhelm from WFMJ, to talk to second graders at Stadium. And she has a really great relationship with the teachers and the students and everyone in the building, just from the time she spends, which is so important. It costs time to do a lot of these things, and we're just so thankful to all of those groups. And it was really nice to honor them at the board meeting. So.
Before the break, Center Intermediate had some power problems that started a few conversations about the condition of Center and whether a new building is in the future. What can you tell us about that?
Sure. Center is our oldest building. I don't think that's a surprise to everyone, and especially over the last 2 years has had, just some things happen, that we've had to address. It's at the end of an almost 18-month repair project after 2 storms, one that flooded our boiler and electric grid, and the other was a windstorm that did roof damage. We were able to file insurance claims, which has really covered most, if not all, of those costs. Then hopefully by the time we come back to school in January, we should be off generator power at Center and fully back on to Ohio Edison Electric. So that's especially the most recent incident. We had an issue with the generator, caused about 60% of the building to lose power. So we need to get back on regular power for that. But the big picture is really what is the future of Center? I think most of us believe, that it will likely be a new building, and we're working with what's called the Ohio School Facilities Commission that looks at projects like these and to try to determine that, because they'll do calculations on should you refurbish this building? What's it going to cost to repair Center to make it, appear or be a newer school versus what will it cost to build a brand new building? We'll also have to talk about things like, where does it go? Do we build it where Center still is at now? Do we move it up here, as part of the high school complex, whether it's its own separate building, or is it tied, connected to Glenwood in some way? We don't know that, and because we don't know, we've engaged a small facilities committee, maybe about 10 to 12 parents, people that are involved and have younger children in the district to get their feedback, because we as a board or a district can't do this in a vacuum. We have to make sure that we're communicating with folks. And then probably in early January of next year, we'll have probably a more substantial update, that we'll share with the community, and really towards the plan is towards the end of next school year is, to really kind of share an idea of what our recommendation is going to be. What would a new building cost? How is this district going to pay for it? What does this building look like? Maybe not every room is designed, but we know, about how big it's going to be. So And what we're doing now to get prepared for that is that we joined what the state called the Expedited Local Partnership Program. So that will give us an analysis of our current buildings, and we are working with a firm called Lesco Architecture to kind of be our planner for that. They're not designing a building at this point, they're really analyzing and reviewing data. So how big is center? How many classrooms does it have? What grades, and then, what will it take to build a new building? What does our enrollment look like over the next 10 years? And then obviously the financial piece of this. When we as a district did this about 10 years ago, we would probably get between 18 to 20% of the funds from the state, which is good, not what we would hope. But now that we're doing this 10 years later, we moved up on that list. While we don't have official numbers, we would expect we would probably get kind of like a 30% match from the state, which obviously helps lower the financial burden on the district and potentially the community and the taxpayers, because we want to do this with whatever our recommendation is in a way that's fiscally responsible to the Boardman community. So more to come on that. That we'll probably share through this channel, as well as social media and other methods as well, because we want to make sure we're, telling the story and keeping the community in the loop.
The 5-year forecast was presented by the treasurer and passed at the meeting. Can you give us some perspective on district finances?
Sure. So every school district, public school district in Ohio, has to approve 5-year forecasts every year, twice a year, in May and November. So we approved our November one, and it's really a snapshot of your district's financial health based on things like revenue data, expense data, as well as a forecast of the future. It's really just a picture of a point in time, because things can change. I think our district financial health looks good. If you look at the bottom line, we feel good about where we're at. There will be renewal levies in the future, that will be important to the community, that will have to be put on the ballot. We have to make sure, we don't, or try to minimize or control things like deficit spending, and we also try to be very conservative in terms of the revenue. The Ohio House of Representatives and Ohio State Senate and the governor pass a biennium budget every 2 years. So we're in a current biennium. That's all we know for sure. We can try to predict what happens in the future, especially with the Fair School Funding Plan, but we'll probably be conservative in our income projections until we know for sure. And that is part of our planning that we've done as well.
Anything else you'd like to add?
Sure. I really want to make sure we give a shout out to everyone involved in the Jekyll and Hyde musical. I think it was maybe mature and maybe a little bit more edgy than what we've done in the past, but our cast, people that worked in the stage crew, the lights, the costumes, the set, I'm sure all the BSTN folks were involved as well. I think it was just really an amazing and awesome performance. I know I went opening night, and we're looking forward. We're going to invite them to our board meeting on December 18th, just to kind of give them a shout out and recognize their hard work. But, as someone who's been going to school musicals for the 14 years I've been on the board, I think it was really good, compared to things like we did like Phantom and Les Mis. So just I think a really fun show, really great show, and just really appreciative that we can continue to offer and highlight our students who are involved in that, because I think a lot of these students started working on that in September, early September, for a play that really wasn't until like the week before Thanksgiving. So now that we are back from Thanksgiving, we're getting ready for holiday concerts. Hopefully everyone in the district received either an email newsletter, hopefully through Remind, that has dates of the upcoming concerts, which I'm sure we'll all be at, and then find them on our website as well. So always great to hear a little Christmas music and recognize our students performing. Also just wanted to highlight David Del Torio and Brock Ferris competed at the state cross-country meet. I think Brock was 13th and David was 20th, so they both earned All-Ohio status, and I think David also was academic All-Ohio, so just congratulations to them for their achievements. And senior Sarah Blasco made the D1 All-State second team for soccer, so just some great accomplishments we wanted to highlight as well.
Thank you for taking the time to join us today, Mr. Landers. I am Jayden Watkins for BSDN. Have a great day, Boardman.